Hi, this is Tootie Tagerly coming from you close to noon Pacific time from sunny San Francisco today. And today I'm going to talk to you about leadership and leadership being negotiation. Um, I grew up negotiating. We would go to the market, we would barter for all the goods being sold. And at that point in time, the goods were made by the person selling it. So there would be a point of connection over this particular thing and a conversation around what was it that they felt when making it? What was it that I or my mother wanted about it? And to me, that sense of negotiation, bartering, community, communication was all related into one thing. So, what's been really interesting is I talk to a lot of leaders, a lot of women and people of color, but everyone really who feels that negotiation can be really, really hard. And I think that no matter what your title or position is in a company, leadership is about influencing others. Yes, you may be the dictator. You may be, I don't know, Vladimir Putin and be able to say, command and control, you must do this, or I will set my armies on you. That's generally not the best style of leadership, especially at a tech company. And I want to posit that leadership is instead influence. How do you persuade other people to come along with your vision, your mission, the thing that you want to do? And a big, big, big tool of leadership is influence is negotiation. So let me walk you through four strategies, four ways to work to think about this. The first thing in a negotiation is to know what matters to you. Know what deeply, deeply matters to you and why. So I'll talk about two scenarios. One scenario is, let's say you're the product manager and you're desperate to get this particular feature or redesign or whatever it is out. And you think what really matters to you is, I need to get it out. I need to get it out as quick as possible. But there's always so much more nuance to that because you can't do it alone. You need the engineers, you need the designers, you need the QA folks, you might need partnerships in other organizations that the feature touches. Um, the thing that matters to you is project success. But if you look at the whys underneath it, why does it matter? There's a whole bunch of different ones. Yeah, perhaps launching this feature is really going to unblock or a bunch of customer requests leading to other things. Perhaps launching this feature is going to make your career. It's going to make you known and maybe be a springboard to other things. Perhaps launching this feature is, well, it's something that you committed to in the roadmap. And the last couple of times that you did this, your feature didn't launch. So what really matters to you is credibility and that timing. Or perhaps the company has been plagued with quality complaints or quality issues. So what really matters to you is launching that product, but with this high sense of quality and quality bar. Because if you know what really matters to you, then you know what are your hard non-negotiables, and then you know what's flexible and you can play around. I'll give you another example. Think about in a salary negotiation. I think we're all told, hey, you got to negotiate your salary. And especially as women with a pay gap, I believe it was 83 cents to the dollar for the latest numbers from 2020 during the pandemic. But knowing what matters to you in a salary negotiation is the first thing to think about. These are common things that people care about. Title. Title because it reflects a level of prestige and success and proximity to the the people, the people who are important, the leadership rooms and tables you want to be in. Other things may be, of course, base salary. What are you going to be able to take home in cash? And that can be base salary, it could be bonuses. And then another is equity, which is what am I going to invest in this company for the long term? It can be a little bit like a lottery ticket, but let's say I want to be invested in my company. But people often don't think about other things. Does it matter that this company is going to give you opportunities to learn and grow? You can negotiate in things like budget for a leadership coach or budget to go to conferences and learn. You can negotiate responsibilities, and these are soft negotiations. They're not going to come into in writing, but the best time to start talking about this, let's say you're coming into a team, is What's the projected headcount for my team through this year? If something that I really care about is growing the team, these are the things that I can negotiate on. I can start to talk about, hey, I really care about pushing forward this team's mission. Will I be included in the leadership team meetings, the C-suite meetings? So these are all parts of what matters to you that you can negotiate before you take a job. It's not just salary, it's all of these other responsibilities, job titles, vacation, all of these things. So that's the first step. The second step is truly listening to what the other side wants and needs, because you really need to empathetically feel and understand their position. You need to know what matters to them and you need to know what doesn't matter to them. If we go back, okay, actually, an example that a client of mine was recently dealing with. She is on the legal M&A, mergers and acquisitions side of a company. She desperately needed a partner team, finance, to participate in these series of workshops and work sessions happening. But they were kind of like, hey, look, I'm too busy. Just share what's going on and then I'll weigh in. I don't have time to sit there through a couple of days worth of meetings and workshops. So, a common scenario of negotiation is you want these particular people to come to your meeting, to come to your work session, and they're kind of saying no. They're probably thinking, well, is this meeting really worth my time? Do I know what's going to happen? Is it going to be well run? We all have Zoom fatigue. Why am I even going to bother going to it? So, one part of learning to negotiate, learning to lead, is to truly understand what the other side's needs are and anticipating their objections as much as possible. You could send an agenda. You could send a very detailed time breakout of what's going to happen when, so that they might participate in a particular time. It might be hard to get someone to fly in person. You might have to bend and create a remote hybrid option for someone to dial in. Definitely not ideal, but listening to the other side's needs and truly understanding them helps lubricate this negotiation and leadership. Next, identify and amplify the common goals. In the product manager example, it's very clear. We all want project success. We want this feature to launch. All right. If we kind of go back and reset to that, like maybe we need to launch it for a particular time because of a seasonal event or a conference or something like that. If you're negotiating for salary, one example that I remember from Sheryl Sandberg's advice, and it's a story that she tells when she was negotiating her position with Mark Zuckerberg, is she looks at him and says, hey, this is the only time that you and I are going to be on opposite sides of the negotiation table. Would love to get through this and resolve this so that we can together do some awesome things for the company. So, because you know what matters to you, because you've listened to the other side's needs, now we can come back and go above this all, summarize it, and be like, this is what we are working on together. And then finally, this is not a pleasant point, but I wanted to remind you to play the long game. Many thanks to one of my mentors and coaches, Dory Clark, for her book there. Because look, unlike this case of bartering at the market, where I'm trying to buy a thing and get to that negotiation, most cases where leadership is negotiation in a workplace setting, it's not a one and done. How you show up in this negotiation with the other person is simply one skirmish, one battle, one interaction in this long-term trust building of partnerships. So why does this matter? Because how you show up in the negotiation helps build this long-term trust. That's why it's important to listen to the other person's needs, to identify and amplify the common goals. And it's also important to know that, like, this one particular battle, this one point battle, which might be, can I get these 4 stakeholders to attend this one meeting? You might not be able to win it and get your side. But think about the negotiation as the long game. What can you do in service of the other side right now to persuade them that this project success, this partnership, showing up at the meetings is crucial for this? And how do you build that trust and add little little pennies, nah, little half dollars of trust into this emotional bank account, building the relationship between the two of you. Because what really matters is the long game, that next meeting, that next project, that next launch. And what you're doing, how you show up in this negotiation is building that long relationship. So it's really important in leadership, which is built on influence, which is built on negotiation, to really play the long game. All right. In summary, leadership is negotiation. What matters is one, know what matters to you, listen to the other side's needs, identify and then amplify the common goals. And then finally, you might not win this battle, but know that you're playing the long game of negotiation. All right. If you are interested in this and if you would like more, I actually have a free negotiation course that I'm offering for the first time and playing with. It's actually pretty short, but I wanted to be able to scale a lot of the work that I'm doing to help more people than the most of the one-on-one women I help with negotiation skills. There's the URL. Thank you for listening and watching. Bye.